Good, everybody. It's me, D Broach. Listen, man, I'm starting a pod, right? And for y'all that know me, y'all know this is completely out of my character. This is not. I'm. I'm not that guy that's gonna be out here making a bunch of noise, doing a lot of talking in the streets. I'm home. I'm an introvert. So why am I starting this podcast, right? I feel like God told me to do it, right? So for y'all that don't know, right, a little ways back, maybe earlier this year, I had heart surgery, right? It's because when I all my whole life when I was younger, I had this heart condition. It was called supraventricular tachycardia, and there was really nothing that they can do about it. They told me I was going to grow out of it. It really stopped my basketball career. It really affected the whole quality of my life, and it's just one of those negative things about life that you find the best of and you get used to and you move on. And it wasn't until I was actually on CNN one day and I saw that JJ Watt had put this post out, right? And the post that he put out, it was real cryptic, but he was basically saying that somebody leaked the fact that he said basically what he said was I heard that somebody leaked something about me, right? So I want y'all to hear it from me. He was like, yeah, I had an AFib situation, right? He was like, but I went to the doctor. They electrocuted my heart back into capacity, and I'm gonna be back on the field and I'm playing, and that's that. Like it is what it is. So it got me thinking, right? Because what I had in SVT wasn't too far different from AFib, right? So I literally told my wife to make me a doctor's appointment. We came down. We were down here in Atlanta. We went to the doctor. We checked it out, and I found out that there is a surgery. Because I'm like, first off, for JJ to do it, right, and for the league to let him get back on the field, then this is legit. And my whole life, I didn't even know this existed. Like when I thought about heart surgery, I thought it was like kind of what you think heart surgery is, right? I'm thinking they lay you on the table, they cutting your heart open, and I'm like, I'm good, I'm good. I don't really want no parts of that, right? But it's a different type of surgery that they're doing now these days. So I go in there, I talk to them. They put this little heart monitor on me. They run it up me the whole nine. They check my heart, and the whole nine. My heart's doing all kind of backflips, right? The SVT is coming back. On top of that, I got AFib like JJ Watt had. I got a bunch of irregularities and a whole lot going on or whatever, right? So as it turns out, I actually needed two surgeries, right? The doctors came to me and they gave me the regular plan. Go on this medication, do this, and all this kind of stuff. I cut to the chase, like, is there a surgery for this? The doctor's like, yeah, but we want you to do this, this, this. Nah. I done been through all this. You understand? I've been dealing with this since I was like 11, 12 years old, since I was a young cat, right? It's only getting worse. It ain't going nowhere. So if there's a surgery, let's skip all of that. Put me on what it is, right? So we scheduled that. I go under and I have both of the surgeries at one time. I recover and I'm doing well. But that's not what this is about. What it's about is the process of doing it. Every time I told somebody I'm about to have a surgery, they was like, oh man, dag, David, I'm sorry to hear that. It's going to be okay. And they got this sad countenance on them. And I'm like, hold up. Like, this is a good thing. Like, I signed up for this. I'm excited about it. And I kept getting the same reaction. They're like, why are you excited about surgery? I've never heard or seen anybody excited about having a surgery. Right. For me, I just was excited about the opportunity of getting a better quality of life and doing better, and just seeing what the other side, see what it looked like. Because I've been, half working now, got more weight on my body than I need, scared to push too far because my heart gonna start beating. I'm gonna get dizzy. I'm gonna pass out. Doctors say I'm gonna die. I've been like dealing with that for a long time. I want to see what it's like to be live free. So I wanted the surgery, right? So everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like when I'm excited, I got a countdown, like I'm about to go, like about to have a party, but I'm about to go to surgery. It seems crazy, but that's where my heart really was. That's where my mind was. Up until the night before the surgery. When I tell y'all the night before the surgery, the day before the surgery, I get a phone call from the doctor, and the doctor is going over the prep stuff where she's telling me, Mr. Broach, tomorrow at 6 a.m., you're going to be here, and this is going to happen, and you need to do this, and you need to arrive here, and you need to wear this, and all that kind of stuff. When I'm telling y'all that I was overcome with fear and panic and, every emotion that you should feel legitimately before you go to surgery, I felt all of it, a rush at one time, right? So what did I do? I processed it. I went to God. I said, I trusted him. I said, you wouldn't have put me in this position to do it if he wasn't going to bring me through. I don't feel it, but I'm going to act in faith anyway, right? So fast forward. That same night, I'm sitting in the garage. I'm talking to my wife. It was raining outside. I had the garage door open. The dogs are running back and forth. And I was like, baby, you know what? Let me, earlier today, I got this phone call about the blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, let me tell you how I kind of got this fear over me. Because she looked at me and she was like, you excited about the surgery tomorrow? Trying to stay on the same, vein that I had been all the way up until that point. right? I'm telling her, listen, it's different now, and I don't know what it is. So I tell her the story, right? So here's my wife, right? When they say, "He who finds a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord," right? She looked at me and she was like, "Say that again." So I repeat the whole story all over to her again, right? And I'm telling her that this is how I felt, and this is how I processed it. And this is how I got myself better, even though I'm kind of in between right now. I was like, but I told her, I said, but God told me, I feel like God told me I should write a book. Ain't that crazy? Like, He told me I should write a book about this whole process, right? And she was like, tell me that again. And I'm like, so I tell her the story again, right? And I'm telling her, like, He told me I should write a book, but I get all these ideas and all that kind of stuff. I ain't did nothing with it. We all done had ideas, and I should this and I should that, and we don't ever act on it and all that kind of stuff. It is what it is, right? So she asked me the third time. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little frustrated. Like, yo, is you all right? Like, why you keep asking me the same thing over and over again, right? And she was like, just tell me, just say it again. So I'm thinking something wrong with her, but I'm gonna go ahead and be like, so earlier today, and I'm telling her the same story all over again, right? So here's what she does. She turns around and gives me her phone and hits play. And as it turns out, she had been recording everything that I said. And when I listened to me talk to her about what God told me, and I heard myself tell her, I ain't gonna do nothing with it, I was convicted. Right? Legitimately, when I heard myself tell her, God told me to do this, but I ain't gonna do nothing with it. Right? So there's ideas and there's God ideas. Right? God told me to do it, and I told her I wasn't gonna do nothing with it. It convicted me. So I asked her to excuse me. I came right over here to the desk where I'm sitting right now, and I started writing. So literally, the night before the surgery, I wrote this book. Right? It's called Surgery. This is literally my heartbeat. This is literally an example when I was walking through Six Flags. It's a recording that was captured by my Apple Watch, the whole nine. And I literally wrote this whole thing out. And what I did was I talked about that whole, number one, what's happening to me. I talked about the fact that how I overcame that fear. And the way that I did it was I had to remind myself, I was raised with a good friend named, I grew up knowing a friend of mine who penned a song that said if he did it before, he'll do it again, right? And I kind of used that same theory, right? That if God had did it before, He's the same God today, tomorrow, and forever. He can do it again. So I thought back on how God had healed me in the past, right? And there's a lot of ways in my life that God actually healed my heart. He healed my heart emotionally from this trauma of not being raised with my father, and how that caused me to isolate myself from everybody, and how I managed to navigate through life. He held me spiritually when I went through a phase where I felt like I couldn't trust Him, and the devil got a grip on my mind a little bit. And I'm walking through the streets of Baltimore, screaming at the sky, angry with the world, specifically angry with God. And God was able to heal my heart that way. So if He can do that, then I can imagine, I have to believe in faith that He can do the easiest part, which is heal me physically, right? So the book is a journey of how I exhibited the faith of God and held on to His word to get through one of the most trying times. And literally from the night before the surgery to the day that I came home and was released from the hospital, where I did my edits and finished it up, this book was written in 3 days, right? But here's the deal. This is what I'm talking to you about right now, why I got to do the podcast, right? Is the last page of the book was pretty much a what now? You know what I mean? Because the whole process of reading the book kind of reminded me of Matthew 6:33, um, where it's like, seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. But before that, it talks about don't worry about what you're going to eat and what you're going to drink, and what clothes you're going to wear and how you're going to do this. He says, because that's what the sinners do, is they stress. He says, but His people, His kingdom men, His kingdom women, you're supposed to just trust in Him and trust in and have faith that He loves you more than He loves the birds. He loves you more than He loves the flowers of the field. But He clothes the fields. He takes care of the birds. So why wouldn't He take care of you, right? So it's like, oh yeah, little faith situation, right? He says, instead of worrying about all of those things, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and let me handle the rest. And that's what it came down with this book, because it was like, why would I write a book? How would I write a book? I don't have no time to be worrying about. Hold on, I lost my AirPod for a second. Here we go. I don't have no time to be trying to figure out writing a book. I got to pack my bag. I got to go have surgery in the morning, right? But it was just being obedient to God. And so acting in obedience to God, what does that look like? I did it. And this is the fruit that came from it. right? I ain't never wrote no book before. This is my first joint. I say first because I'm gonna write another one. You understand? Because I've got a couple more ideas that I'm jotting down that I'm working on doing it. But at the end of this book, I was asking, what's gonna happen next? Literally, in the last page of the book, I literally said the same part right here where it says, with that being said, I will be launching a podcast in a men's group called The Operating Room, where we invite God's surgical hands to transform and remake the hearts of men after his own image. More information to come at a later date. See you in the operating room, right? This is what I got from God way back then when I wrote that joint earlier this year. So, in true obedience, I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know if 2 of y'all or 2 million of y'all are going to watch this. It doesn't matter. Just like I don't know if didn't know if anybody was going to write the book. I didn't know if I was going to be able to write a book. It doesn't matter. It's about me exercising obedience and trusting God to do the rest, right? So if only one person watches it and something that I say on this pod blesses somebody, then it's worth it, right? And if nobody is blessed by it, right, it's worth it just to show God that you can give me something and you can trust me and I'm going to be obedient to what you tell me to do, right? That's the journey. That's what I'm on these days, right? So so the book was called Surgery because obviously that's what it was about. It was about heart surgery, right? This pod is called The Operating Room because there was an experience when I walked into the operating room when I was rolled in and my eyes open and I was still looking around. I saw it was something special. It was catered directly to us. And I realized that me as a man navigating this earth, as a black man specifically, there's a lot of issues that we are afraid to talk about. There's a lot of issues that we feel like we're navigating this life and we're going through them by ourselves. But if we can ever get into community and talk to each other and share with one another, we're going to realize that we're not alone, that you're not alone, that something you're going through, I may be feeling, or something I'm going through, you had experience through, and we're stronger together than we are separated. So the purpose of this pod is for me to get together, for me to talk to you all from the bottom of my heart, for us to honor God together, for me to interview you all, for me to get experience from everybody else, so that together as a community of men, we can be uplifted and we can honor God together and represent his kingdom well. That's what it's about. That's what I'm about to launch. So again, welcome to the operating room, where we invite God's surgical hands to transform our hearts into his own image. I see you on the other side. I look forward to what's coming. God bless you.